We'll begin with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishnapreshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दं माधवम्। So Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we are today going to discuss the last verse of Sri Brahma Samhita. So let me share my screen. So, last few verses after Brahmaji finished his prayers, Lord Krishna, when accepting his prayers, he mentioned that I am going to give you instructions in the following 5 shlokas, and we are studying those 5 shlokas where he mentioned that the gist was basically the goal of a living entity's life is to attain loving devotional service to Krishna. And for that, there were prerequisites and other things, and how Krishna said that everything, Sarva Dharman Parityaja, in parallel verse last, he mentioned last week, that you basically give up all the other activities and just ultimate goal is to attain loving devotional service to me. And then he also mentioned Yadrishi Yadrishi Shraddha Siddhir Bhavati Tadrishi. So the degree of faith one has in Krishna, to that degree, he attains self-realization, success in self-realization, and attains the bhakti or loving prema bhakti for Krishna. So in the concluding verse today here, then he's giving this instruction to who? Brahmaji. So finally, he concludes that he is the goal, he is the source of everything, and then by his energy, Brahmaji, who is intelligent personified literally, he's giving this instruction, and then you maintain this world and while attaining the goal of final prema bhakti, and that's how you also give this instruction in the parampara to the other living entities as a representative of Krishna. So let's recite this verse. So here Krishna is saying, ahaṁ hi viśvasya carācarasya bījaṁ pradhānaṁ prakṛtiḥ pumāṁś mayāhitaṁ tejam bibharṣi vidhehi tvam atho jaganti. So ahaṁ hi viśvasya carācarasya. So bījaṁ. So I am, Krishna is saying, I am the seed of everything in this creation. Char and achar. So these words are used in many places in even Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literature. So all the creation, whole creation is Krishna describes in chara means one who are moving and achara means non-moving. So basically all the living entities and all that is matter. So in the whole creation, in this whole universe, in this Vishwa, everything that is moving and non-moving, I am the seed of that. I am the original seed of that. And then further he says, pradhānaṁ, prakṛti and pumāṁś also. So I am also pradhāna, that is the unmanifested state of the whole creation. Prakrti, the manifested state of the material creation, and pumāṁś or the puruṣa. I am the original cause of everything outside this material creation or outside this whole spiritual and material creation. I am the source of that and I am the supreme person. So pumāṁś or puruṣa means a person as well as the supreme enjoyer. And then he further says, mayāhitaṁ, by my mercy, I have given you this, or I have empowered you to maintain, or the creation for the cause what you have been created for creation of this material universe. Teja idaṁ bibharṣi, and tejam or the energy or the effulgence I have put in you. You bear this now. You take this energy or the instructions which I have given you. And I also have given you enough power or authority or empowered you to for necessary for the creation of this material universe. Vidhe means Brahmaji himself. Vidhehi, you now create and regulate this material. Tvam, atho, jaganti. This whole material world now, the universe is created, that you create and regulate. That is the secondary creation. So we read from Srimad Bhagavatam, the primary creation is called Sarga. Thank you, Mataji. And Visarga is the secondary creation. So the primary creation, Sarga, is created by Krishna himself. So Sarga is the kind of a raw material for the whole creation, as well as here he is saying, I have given you I have done the Sarga or the primary creation, and I have also given you the intelligence for manipulating or maintaining that, and the Visarga is the secondary creation that Brahmaji creates. So there are few things here. So first thing is, going back to the previous few verses where he mentioned that the three necessities or the three basic requirements where he mentioned was the Vedas or the evidence, then Sadachara or the pious activities. A devotee is always engaged in pious, or he is never basically engaged in any impious activities or anarthas. And then practice, abhyasa nirantara. So all these three constitute sadhana bhakti, and sadhana bhakti is required with knowledge to attain loving devotional service for Krishna. So that's what he was mentioned. So sadhana bhakti. So why do we need to know about this? And then he's mentioning about all these different categories in which we can understand the absolute truth, that he is the original seed of everything. He is also pradhāna, which is the unmanifested nature, material nature, and prakrti, which is the manifested state of material nature, and he is also puruṣa. So all this knowledge is transcendental knowledge. He says that janma karma cha me divyam. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions that my appearance and activities and everything about me is transcendental, divyam. But we need to understand that tattvata, evam yo veti tattvataha. So that is knowledge. So the spiritual knowledge is to understand Krishna's appearance, Krishna's activities, Krishna's energies, and all the different categories of his energies and himself. So that's what he is giving here. Because by this knowledge, only we can understand him, and that knowledge, we understand him tattvataha. That is the goal of the knowledge and nothing else. So by knowledge, one can be released from, when one attains this knowledge, one can be released from all the knots in this material creation, and one can be detached from the material creation. By this knowledge, we can attain the real knowledge is for real self-realization. So that is the ultimate perfection. That spiritual knowledge is the ultimate perfection of that self-realization. And that is what Krishna is explaining in many places, in different places, different scriptures. In Bhagavad Gita, he is instructing this to Arjuna in different ways. But ultimate goal of attaining that knowledge is also, he mentions that Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, that you surrender unto me and attain loving devotional service unto me. In the same thing, in different places in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned either by himself or his incarnations or his devotees to different devotees. We see he, as a Kapil Dev, instructs this to Devavati, or in the 11th canto, he instructs this knowledge himself to Uddhava, or his devotees as Narada Muni or Maitreya Muni, he's instructing it to Vidurji, or Narada Muni is instructing to many of his devotees. But this knowledge they are giving, and the purpose of this knowledge is ultimately to attain prema bhakti or loving devotional service to Krishna. So there are three technical terms that he uses here: pradhāna, prakṛti, and puruṣa. So what are these? So pradhāna, as we discussed about, is unmanifested state or unmanifested sum total of this whole material creation. All the three modes of material nature, when they are in unmanifested form, they constitute in pradhāna. Not only three modes of material nature, but all the 24 elements what we learn, which are in manifested state, what we perceive in this phenomenal world or in this manifested world, are in unmanifested, subtle unmanifested state. That is called pradhāna. So that pradhāna is like, just a simple example, what we can talk about is like a gold ore or the source of gold in the raw form, where the whole mountain or whole land or whole area is made up of gold in a raw form. But when it is processed and we extract the gold from it and it goes through different formations or different transformations, then it can be transformed into small gold coins or gold, different types of ornaments like earrings or necklaces or bangles or ankle bells or rings, so many different formations. But in unmanifested state, it is in a gold ore form. Even in manifested state, it is still gold, but it has a different form, and it is transformed into some usability or something that we can perceive. So that's what the unmanifested form is, pradhāna. So that is the difference between pradhāna and prakrti. So pradhāna is subtle, it is undifferentiated sum total of the whole existence before this prakrti comes into existence, and before this manifestation where all the living entities perform their karma comes into existence. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, vyakta avyakta. These are the two terms he uses in the Bhagavad Gita when describing this material creation. And then he also describes that vyakta avyakta parastasmat bhavanya vyakta avyakta sanatana. That then he mentions about the creation which is also beyond this material creation, which is manifested and unmanifested. That is constantly going through manifestation and unmanifested state. So in the unmanifested state, it is called pradhāna, in which the three modes are not active, but when it is agitated by the three modes of material nature and everything becomes manifest and all those elements are transformed, that is the manifested state. That is prakrti. So that's the second part what we are going to discuss. Yes, Sudevi Sekhi Mataji, is there any thought you want to share or question?
Yes, Prabhu. So there is something called Mahatattva and there is Pradhāna.
Yeah.
So as far as I understand, Pradhāna is, as you mentioned, when it is in the dull matter form, it is unagitated. But when Mahavishnu glances on Pradhan, the living entities are impregnated into the that, and then comes that resultant is called Mahatattva.
Correct.
And then further you talked about Prakriti. Then can you tell me further what is a change which happens?
So Mahatattva is as per my understanding, we can go to the 26th chapter in third canto, but Mahat is the in-between stage when pradhāna is transformed into the prakrti, the whole creation. And we can go and check, I think in the 26th chapter, in the 10th verse, when Kapila Muni is explaining this. So Prabhupada writes this in the purport. So he mentions here, one may argue that the Mahat is different from Pradhana because Mahat there are manifestations. But the actual explanation is that Pradhana, however, is given here when the cause and effect are not clearly manifested. It is unmanifested state. Then the reaction of the total element does not take place. And at that stage of material nature is called Pradhana. So in Pradhana is not time element. So that's where Mahat and Pradhana, the subtle difference is Mahat is before Prakriti, when the agitation is started. That's what I understand from here. And there is no time element because in subtle state, there is no transformation of material elements. But with due course of time, everything in Prakriti or everything in the material elements is going through different transformations. The 6 transformations that are described, that if you see.
So yes, Prabhu, I understand the difference between pradhana and Mahatattva. Pradhana is in unmanifest form, and when it is agitated, when it is impregnated by the glands of Mahavishnu, the living entities, they are impregnated in that. Then comes the Mahatattva, right, Prabhu?
And then when the
sorry, Prabhu, your video is still. Is it your internet is not working fine?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, your video is fine for me.
Yeah, okay. So
was it a problem at my end, Prabhu? I didn't realize it was frozen.
I'm not sure.
For me,
I
can hear Prabhuji's voice and everything clearly.
Yeah, sorry, Prabhu. Can you please?
Yeah. So Mahat is when the living entities are impregnated in between state, and then when Prakriti, in the form of Prakriti, all the elements are fully manifested. There are 24 elements that are explained even in the Bhagavad Gita, and here Kapila Muni further explains those to Devahuti, Mother Devahuti, that all the 5 subtle elements, 5 Vishaya or the objects of senses, 5 senses, then 5 working senses, all these constitute 20, plus the unmanifested state of the 3 modes of material nature, mind, intelligence, and ego. All these 24 are manifested or they can be perceived in this material nature, and that is what is called Prakriti. So Prakriti is the manifested state of the material nature. So in which time is the one which is energy of Krishna, or in the form of time, everything is continuously changing. So nothing is, everything is temporary. Nothing is eternal. But the living entity is eternal. But even though living entity is eternal, its identity in the material, in the Prakriti, in that form, is temporary. And it is going through 6 transformations, that is appearing or birth, then growth, then stays for some time, it creates some byproducts, then it starts dwindling, and then eventually death or it vanishes. So these Shadavikar or 6 transformations of a living entity or the material form of living entity, the covering of material living entity is going through constantly. And that's where living entity gets understanding that he loses his own identity because of forgetfulness, and then he identifies himself with the material nature. So that is Prakriti. And then, so pradhāna is unmanifested state, a very subtle way, and then prakrti is fully manifested state of the material elements. So that full manifestation is called prakrti. So pradhāna contains all the elements of the prakrti, but in unmanifested state, just like a gold ore. It contains the same element as we see in the ornaments, but in unmanifested, very raw form, which needs to be processed and then taken out so that we can use them and transform into different ornaments or different usage of that gold. In the same way, pradhāna contains all the elements in prakrti, but they are in subtle, unmanifested state. And when the three modes of material nature agitate them, then they are transformed, or all the elements are transformed and they form into a manifested state. So that transformation is eventually prakrti, and that in the universe is going through this continuous cycle of manifestation and unmanifestation again and again. And the puruṣa, finally, or pumāṁś, the third part he mentions here, the pradhānaṁ, prakrti, and puruṣa or pumāṁś. So puruṣa is the supreme personality of Godhead, or he is the supreme soul. He is also the source of the super soul. He is also the source of the Paramatma, and he has no beginning, as in the very first verse of Brahma Samhita we read, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda. So he is Anadi. So just like when Purusha, when we think of Purusha or person in this material world, we think of persons like us, who has taken birth, who is growing, and who has an end. So because we think person from that perspective, we think that person has a beginning. But when we follow, and then when we think that, oh, this person has a beginning from the other person has a beginning from other person, and when we continuously go and reach the person who is the original person, who has no beginning, but who is actually Adi, who is the source of every other person, everything, who is the source literally of everything, that is the pumāṁś or puruṣa that is mentioned here. So he is also called as Parama Purusha, because just to avoid confusion between the Purusha, what we think, but Purusha, when we say real Purusha, it is mentioned only for Krishna. So, and that Purusha is transcendental to the modes of material nature. He never ever comes under the control of the three modes of material nature. And even though he is beyond this material creation, beyond this material influence, he can be still perceived in this material creation, because his effulgence is spread throughout the spiritual as well as material creation. His energy is everywhere, and through his energy, he has entered into the whole creation. That's why he is also called omnipotent and omnipresent. So that Purusha, who is person, he is Krishna, and he can be perceived through many different energies, and that's what the pumāṁś here is. Now further, after mentioning that he is bījaṁ, source of everything, he is pradhāna, the unmanifested state of material creation, he is also prakrti in the manifested state, and he is also the supreme source of both prakrti and pradhāna, the pumāṁś. So further he says that knowing this, that I am the source of everything and I am the source of all that is moving and non-moving, I have now empowered you and given you this energy. You are now completely empowered. Mayāhitaṁ. Ahitam here is conferred, or I have given you. Teja idaṁ, this energy or the effulgence I have put into you. Bibharṣi, now you take this. You bear this. Why? Because you will need this. With this energy or with this intelligence and power, you can perform the task what is meant for you. Hey vidhe, vidhehi, now you create and regulate. Tvam atho jaganti, this whole jagat, this whole material creation. Hey vidhi, oh Brahma, now you regulate and create. Let's read this translation clear first, and then we'll go to the final instruction, what he means for Brahmaji. So here he's saying, listen, O Vidhi, I am the seed, bījaṁ, that is the fundamental principle of this world of animate and inanimate objects, chara and achara. I am pradhāna, the substance of matter in unmanifested state. I am prakṛti, the material cause, and I am also puruṣa, or the efficient cause. This fiery energy that belongs specially to the Brahman that inheres in you has also been conferred by me. So the energy or the power what is now in you, that is also given by me to you. Now, it is by bearing this fiery energy that you regulate this phenomenal material world of animate and inanimate objects. So this phenomenal world, which is the world which we can experience through our senses around us. So that is the phenomenal world. This also word Prabhupada translates in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, phenomenal and numinous. So phenomenal world is something that we perceive, and numinous is beyond our perception, that is which we cannot perceive, but we accept that it does exist. So this phenomenal world of animate and chara and achara. So with this, now Brahmaji is representative. So he's making him as a representative in this material world, with giving him empowerment through his energy and intelligence. So a duty of a representative of Krishna, he may be a Brahma, who is the regulator of this whole universe, or a king, or a teacher, or some authority, is to control the subordinate, support them, help them, as well as give them Krishna consciousness. So here, Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also mentions about different philosophers and different philosophies. But he ultimately says that we accept the philosophy of Achintya Bhedabhed that is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that simultaneous distinction and non-difference has also sprung from my inconceivable energy. That philosophy or the energy, that inconceivable simultaneously Achintya Bhedabhed Tattva, is also coming from Krishna. And here it is very beautifully mentioned. So let the attainment of love of Krishna by practice of pure devotion through the knowledge of their mutual true relationship that subsists between Jiva, Jada or matter, and Krishna. So the purpose ultimately is to attain love of Krishna by practice of pure devotion. But this is attained through knowledge, and that's why this knowledge is important. That's why we need to know Krishna Tattvata. So this knowledge of what? The relationship, mutual relationship between Jiva, Prakriti or Jad matter, and Krishna or Purusha. So Jiva, the duty of Jiva is to engage Prakriti or Jad matter in service of Krishna. So Jiva is eternal servant. Jad or matter is eternally, that is, engaged in service of Krishna, and Krishna is eternal recipient of that service. That is the relationship between the three, the mutual relationship. And that's what is the purpose of knowledge, to understand this mutual relationship. And this is based on the principle of Achintya Bhedabhed Tattva, that everything is same and simultaneously different from Krishna. That is the Achintya Bhedabhed Tattva. So this Brahman, or we are also simultaneously one as Krishna qualitatively, but we are different quantitatively, and that's why it is our duty to serve him, because he is the supreme whole and we are eternally infinitesimal. Krishna is Om Purnamada Purnamadam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. He is always complete, even though there are many unlimited, complete holes in their own sense are coming out of him. But he remains always complete. And that's why, because he is the source of everything, everything that emanates from him for all living entities, the duty is to serve him. And then be my instruction for being handed down in order to the spiritual perceptual succession. So another duty for Brahmaji or any controller who is a representative of Krishna, to pass on this knowledge in the parampara. So Brahmaji has been given this knowledge from Krishna directly within his heart, and now he is telling that you regulate this world with the intelligence I have given you. That regulation comes, you also maintain the subordinates as well as pass on this knowledge to your subordinates. So hand down this in order of spiritual perceptual succession in your community. And that's what Brahma Sampradaya is. And we are very fortunate, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, receiving the same knowledge from Brahmaji down through Guru Shishya Parampara to us. And that's what our goal is now, to attain this knowledge, and with knowledge attain ultimate goal of living entity, that is love for Krishna, that prema bhakti. And with that knowledge we perform sadhana bhakti, and even with the only goal to attain prema bhakti. And that's what Krishna is telling here to Brahmaji also. So very beautiful end here. Krishna's instructions very deep, very nice. So I will stop here today. And this being the last verse of Brahma Samhita, I also want to thank you all, particularly Shankaran Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity to teach this difficult subject matter, which in the beginning I thought very challenging. And I don't know how much, there may be many frailties, many incompleteness things in my studies and while describing it. But with your support, thank you so much for listening to this and taking whatever I was able to present with my little intelligence and little understanding. So thank you very much, and Hare Krishna. Chila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Brahma Samhita ki jai.
Thanks very
Thank
much,
you so much, Prabhuji.
It's actually, especially this last verse is very beautiful, and it's explaining about all Vishnu's tattva and how how the universe has formed and everything. It is describing about this last verse, everything completely, I think.
Yes, thank you, Mataji.
And thank you, Prabhuji. And we want to see you next upcoming classes also to take any concept or anything, so we can enrich your beautiful Prabhupada's this one, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. We'll see. Now, next month, we are going to Bharat. So
Acha.
that will be definitely break, and then we'll see what we can do. But I learned a lot of things, and I also learned a lot of what do you call, things I need to learn in this study. So I need to work on those for sure. So thank you very much.
So you already this is recorded in your YouTube or anything, Prabhuji? Anything if you want to.
Yes,
Because
Mataji. It is fortunately, I want to listen to all these classes going forward.
yeah, so because in the
It is there.
chant and behave, I know that you are uploaded, but sometimes so many messages it will go up, and so if you have any link, if you can post that link, Prabhuji, whenever we want, we can listen your recordings.
Yes, Mataji, I have created a playlist of all these chapters from the very first discussion what we had until today. So I will post that in the group. I'll post the link for the whole playlist.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Sorry, Sudev Mataji, you can continue, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna,
Pranam Jai
Ji.
Shri
Pranam.
Prabhupada. All glories to your service of helping us understand Brahma Samhita. Or you did a lot of research and also you connected different verses from other shastras and tried to simplify the so much complicated Brahma Samhita and try to decode it for us. It was very wonderful journey along with you all this 1.5 years. I didn't even realize that it was 1.5 years since we started it first. So yeah, Prabhu, thank you for your great help. Although I couldn't take full advantage of all the sessions properly, being attentive in all respects. I really, whatever little time I can focus, that time also I found it very relishable, the way you explained and try to connect. And really grateful for all your service, Prabhu, and also keeping the recordings so that we can also refer to them in future. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to our
And
senior devotees and Shankaran Prabhu for having faith in me, which I myself was not sure, and but I did it for my own purification. I'm not sure how much I was able to explain, but I definitely relished Brahma Samhita in completely different way when I was reading and studying this. And thank you so much for bringing so many nice, beautiful questions, Mataji, uh, that helped me also go a little bit deeper and try to understand, because after this session I always went back and read those verses and tried to find references for my own clarification. So thank you very much.
thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
And as Mataji also mentioned, that we can also have future sessions so that we can have more discussions on spiritual subjects where you can go in depth and share your realizations. Currently we are doing evening readings of Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. Srila Prabhupada, Srimad Bhagavatam commentaries. So anything from any specific chapter, if you would like to, something if you like and you want to discuss that, you can just do a presentation on that kind of, and you can go elaborate on that in depth so that you can compare, contrast Prabhupada purport and Vishnu Chakravarti Prabhu, his commentary, and maybe some other things like if you have read Jiva Goswami or some, you can just enlighten us and try to help us to go deeper, because right now we are just doing reading, we are not going verse by verse explanation. We always wanted to have something like that, although it is not probably practically possible considering everybody is quite busy. So maybe something like this could really help the audience and keep us encouraged to keep the reading going.
Yes, Mataji, I will try my best. What probably we can do is whatever we read, we can discuss that at our level, whatever our understanding is, and we can bring some references for a few minutes every day when we read. And I unfortunately am many times I am not able to join because of some other things going on. But after I return from Bharat, I'll try my best to join every day. And whatever we read that day, I think it will be better we discuss after that. And then we all can share our understanding and bring in some other references that will mm, make our understanding deeper on those verses, whatever we read that day.
Yes, Prabhu. And is this officially the last session, Prabhu?
Yes, so today will be our last session of Brahma Samhita. I was thinking of summarizing Brahma Samhita again, but because I am traveling and I will not be able to available from next Wednesday, so we could do one just for summarizing, and we could do actually just a discussion kind of session. If you have any other Brahma Samhita verses, any thoughts you want to share, your realizations, we can have just an open discussion session for half an hour. or a concluding session.
Yes, Prabhu, that idea of summarizing is good. If you could plan something after your return
Okay.
from
We could do
India,
that.
it would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, and discussion based on, if some person has a doubt or something on a particular thing, we can go deeper there like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that. Thank you,
We could
Prabhu, for
plan
your
that.
time.
Thank you so much.
Jagannath Priya Madhuri, please continue.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I don't want to add more than what Sudai Saki Mataji and Anuradha Mataji said. And very grateful for your deep explanations and making it so simplified for us to understand Brahma Samhita. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you so much for bearing me, Mataji. I don't know, because many times I only learned one thing: you can explain if you have understood. And I tried my best to understand to my level and explain my understanding. That's all I did. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your association, Prabhuji. And that way, Guru Maharaj Parampara and Prabhupada's Parampara, it's continuing like that.
Yes, Prabhu. And because of mercy of Shankaran Prabhuji, we got to hear from you, and we were, so many exalted souls are there in the group, and we never get to hear, and we don't know, their realizations, understanding. And because these opportunities, this platform is where you can actually bring about whatever Shastra research or whatever understanding you have, you can bring that. And we came to know about you because we are all connecting through remote, through Zoom. We have not met in person. We don't know each other. But yes, through this platform, we got to know that, yes, Prabhuji from Sacramento, he is there. He's such a learned person, and we could learn from him. And Brahma Samhita is such a very tough topic Prabhu gave you, and you took it as a, such a nice service mode you took, and you really did it so well, Prabhu. And even Shankaran Prabhu used to join every week just to hear from you, Prabhu. That is another encouragement. Yes, today is missing though, but yes, it is really good to have such discussions, especially senior devotees, and for us to keep it going in the spiritual journey, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your nice words, Mataji. I am actually doing the service that was given to me. I definitely don't consider myself anyway senior or anything. I personally am learning from all of you many things. And this journey, I just want to continue. And thank you so much for all of your association. Yeah, that's all I would say. Thank you very much. So I think we'll stop here.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अन्नकूट वैष्णववृन्द की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की
श्री
जय
ब्रह्म संहिता की जय हरे कृष्ण
हैप्पी जर्नी प्रभुजी
I'm here.
Have a safe trip,
only.
Prabhu.
Yeah, next
Yeah.
Sunday we are going. Thank you.
oh after high school after school is completed
After school is completed.
yeah when